Certain boundaries should never be crossed. Not galactic, nor moral. But at the edge of the galaxy, loneliness weighs heavier than common sense. In forgotten colonies, where the law is a distant echo, you always find fleeting pleasures. I thought I only brought back memories from that night. I was wrong. 6 months of armed escort for a shipment of rare minerals. A dirty job, but lucrative. While my ship docked at Primus Station, the recycled air of my home filled my lungs. For the first time in forever. 12,000 souls were waiting for me. I, Officer Kurtz, was returning to my nest. I felt euphoric. A strange, inexhaustible energy coursed through my veins. I saw my wife, Elena, and I tore her clothes off. The act was savage. For hours, even later. Walking to the office, I felt that wild desire, making my hands tremble. I saw Sarah, my colleague, and my mistress, alone in the office. I didn't hold back. I took her too, right there on the desk.
The hunger was already beginning. Kurtz did not know it, but he was no longer a man. He was a bridge, a vessel for something that had been waiting in the dark for eons. The first sign wasn't pain, it was craving. Not a common flu, but a fever burning from within. Elena felt it first. She was in the kitchen. She didn't look sick. She looked hungry. A violent cough doubled her over. When she wiped her mouth, she saw it. A secretion, thick, iridescent, like oil on water. Her pupils were wide, black pits of not pain but pure need. Her eyes, once full of love, now reflected an insatiable hunger. She looked out the window towards the lower levels, where thousands of men worked, and then rushed out of the apartment. The strange illness didn't seek to destroy the body. Not at first. It sought a vehicle, a pliable mind, a compliant vessel. Elena was the first to fully succumb, a burn in the blood that could only be extinguished by the touch of another living being. Desire became a biological mandate, a silent voice dictating every move. Elena no longer looked ill. She looked transformed. Her skin shimmered with an oily sweat. She entered the crowded sectors, her face a mask of ecstasy, biting her lips as she watched the colonists and begins to undress before them.
I saw Sarah again, in the main plaza. She wasn't my lover anymore, but something else. She was staring at a stranger, with that same hungry look as Elena. Everyone started touching. Everyone was like searching for something. There was no violence. There was only urgency.
In less than 72 hours, Primus Station ceased to function. The machines stopped. The communications were cut. 12,000 souls trapped in a spiral of chemical euphoria. The illness moved like a forest fire, jumping from skin to skin, breath to breath, an unprecedented pleasure madness. But in reality, it was a biological collapse.
This is a collective madness, and I feel it too. The burn in my blood, it is calling me to join them. What is this?
But pleasure has a price. Once the illness reaches saturation in the host, the desire dies, and the body becomes fertilizer. It is a harvest of bodies. Nobody could see it. Then the body turns into a cocoon. The first cocoons appeared in the cargo sectors. No one knew what was gestating inside.
I saw a man collapse near the airlocks. He wasn't screaming, he was smiling. White fibers, like silk, began to erupt from his pores. They wrapped around him, tighter and tighter. He was being woven into the station itself, a living, breathing tomb.
Silence from the colony triggered federal alarms. Fearing a surprise attack, the Galactic Federation sent a strike fleet. But then, intelligence arrived. A nearby colony had been incinerated due to a biological breach in the Forbidden Nebulae. The commanders prepared for the worst. The Federation wasn't coming to save anyone, they were coming to contain. Level 5. Quarantine protocol. No one in, no one out, and those inside ceased to be citizens. They became evidence. The Federation arrived, already tasked to find the origin of the biological threat. The trail was infallible. A trail of modified DNA, tracing back through time. A battalion of biohazard soldiers hunted the source, the anomaly that had brought a star community to its knees. They were looking for Patient Zero. They moved through dark corridors, filled with mysterious cocoons. In absolute silence, advanced holographic scanners projected lines of contagion through the air. The lines converged on a single point: Officer Kurtz's apartment.
They took me to a central command office, far from the cocoon-infested halls. The silence was heavier than the vacuum of space. The officer didn't ask for names. He asked for routes, for contacts, for fluids. They treated me like a biological weapon, not a man. I told them about the frontier women, about my lust, my guilt. I swore the disease came from them, that I was just the carrier.
The frontier women are dead, Officer Kurtz. They were your victims, not your executioners. Officer, stay still. Look at the screen. There is something pulsing in your veins. It doesn't match your DNA.
My heart hammered against my ribs. I didn't understand. Then, with surgical forceps, they tore away my uniform sleeve, stuck to my skin by a dark, dry crust. Then, I remembered the cargo ship, the broken container from the traders. That night on guard, when I felt a sharp prick in my arm, I ignored it. I thought it was a wire, but it wasn't a wire. It was something else. A star worm from the Forbidden Nebulas. It had lodged in my elbow using my marrow and my nervous system as a battery, my actions as its distribution system. My God, I wasn't Patient Zero, I was the factory.
Unknown species activated. Protocol 899 violated. Prepare the incinerators. Colony VEX-302. Cleanse authorized.
My last thought, before the incineration gas filled my lungs, wasn't for my wife or my lovers. It was for the worm in my elbow. I could feel its satisfaction. We had fulfilled our purpose. The universe is vast, cold, and hungry, and we have awakened a new race. I can feel them as the gas explodes. They are alive.